Okay, I have to admit, I was pretty lucky to get into PPC. I was a marketing exec before. I went travelling in Southeast Asia for 3 months with my partner, and once I came back, an opportunity came at my old workplace to become the PPC Manager. My manager at the time trusted that I was pretty good at when it came to data-driven decisions, and he felt like I could do the job at a good standard. In this video, I'm going to tell you how I recommend to get into PPC, whether you're a complete beginner or you have some marketing experience but want to basically focus your efforts on PPC. So let's get into the first step. First of all, ask yourself, do I really want to get into PPC marketing? If it's just to sit around and do nothing, that is the wrong mindset when it comes to being a PPC manager. There is plenty to do all the time when it comes to PPC, and you'll be constantly looking at ways to improve the account further and further. And finally, you need to be very data driven and focused on the long-term results. It's very, very rare that you get instant results when it comes to PPC, as Facebook or Google need to learn exactly what works with the account, and also a lot of the businesses just aren't set up for the best returns when it comes to the PPC. You need to be confident enough to explain what they should do on their website to basically improve the customer experience and also increase conversions whilst doing so. And if this sounds all fine to you, let's go to the next step of where I recommend to learn PPC. Okay, first of all is the Google Ads certifications. For experienced Google Ads managers, these can seem like a bit of a waste of time, but if you're brand new, you don't know too much about it, I do recommend you to go through these and try to complete them as fair as possible. Don't get tempted to cheat. It is not worth it. You'll learn a lot more by trying to remember the content and then going through the final 50 questions near the end on whatever category you want to go for. I really recommend the search. I recommend the PMAX because I feel like PMAX is just going to get better and better. If you don't know what PMAX is, Performance Max is a type of search. And finally is display, for example, a display ad on YouTube or even a display on the website when you see the ads, etc. I recommend to go through these, get them completed, and this will help you understand the basics when it comes to PPC. Next thing I recommend is YouTube. YouTube really helped me out. There's some awesome creators out there, and it really helps people who like to see visual elements rather than just reading a block of content like you get from the Google Ads certifications. Some of my favorites is Grow My Ads by Austin. I also recommend people like Heath as well, and also many other creators like myself. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Blog content is another thing I recommend. There are plenty of bloggers. I do my own blog on my website, Johnny Swift PPC. I also recommend just Googling whatever queries you've got. For example, if you don't understand a certain element of PPC, just Google it. Someone's likely to have answered it in a blog, and if not answered in a blog, they've probably answered it on Reddit. Reddit has loads of communities when it comes to PPC. There is our PPC, and there's also things like our Google Ads, and there's probably a Facebook Ads one that I'm not sure about yet, but there probably is one. If you're curious, there's lots of PPC people on there, and also people who want to get into PPC and have questions that you might have not thought of, and you can basically read what the answers have been saying, people who are answering the question. And finally, it's a little bit of an obvious answer, but the best way to get into Google Ads is by having first experience with Google Ads. If you have a friend who works in PPC, why not ask them if they can show you around, if you're allowed to just like look into the details. Maybe it's in a view only mode setting, so there's less pressure of you basically accidentally making a mistake in there. I think it's very useful to basically just get first second experience by actually going into the platform. And now you've started learning PPC, how do you find your first job? That is one of the issues. Let's get into where I suggest you find your first PPC job. The first thing I suggest is just apply. Apply for roles. Get your CV up. Make sure it's very data-driven CV. Talk about all your wins. If you just come out of university, tell them exactly all the things you enjoy when it came to the university degree, such as I enjoy this data side of things. If you don't have a university degree, try to spin it into what you did at school. And the best thing you can do is just apply for jobs. Don't go for maybe a PPC director job if you've got no experience, but maybe go for the ones that are a little bit easier to get into. For example, a PPC assistant, executive. There are lots and lots of agencies that are trying to fill roles with PPC. It's constantly in demand, so I recommend to just keep reaching out to them, try to get a job. It's the best way to do it rather than just sit down and do nothing about it and expect the role to come to you. Just apply for them roles. And finally, if I was trying to employ someone who would work in PPC, I would look for two things. I would look for experience, and also if they've got the mettle to actually run a PPC account. For example, I told the story at the beginning where I became a PPC manager for the first time. It's because I impressed when I was a marketing executive. My boss gave me the opportunity to do a PPC, even though I had no experience, just because he trusted me to do a good job. And when I left as well, they gave the job to somebody who worked in customer service, just because he really cared for his work. He showed all the aspects of being a good PPC manager, even though he worked in customer service before. So it shows that you can become a PPC manager even if you don't have any experience in marketing. You can still impress your workspace, and hopefully the opportunity comes. And they are all my recommendations when it comes to becoming a PPC manager. First of all, you need to get the experience. You need to learn. It's very important that you learn, so you're not just going into there completely blind. And finally, you need to really impress either the person who sent out the job application or those at work where the opportunity may come through. And if you do have any questions, please ask in the comment section below, or even like and subscribe if you really enjoy the video. It really helps out the channel, and hopefully you can learn a lot more about PPC and SEO when it comes to my channel. Thank you very much for watching.